All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope things are going well with you guys. Yeah. So today, this morning, I'm gonna talk briefly about some. There are a few things that we are still gonna stay on AWS Amazon Web Services on Wednesdays. We are gonna move on weekend classes. We are moving on. But for AWS, since we still have some things I want to cover, I'm going to be doing the Wednesday. The Wednesday 1 hour class is going to be mainly on AWS. If that's changed, I will let you guys know. So for today, there are a couple of things I want us to do. First, I'm going to have you guys sign up for one of AWS services they call AWS Educate. So it's basically Amazon has like a training program. I'm going to show you guys how you can get access to that. It's free. So we're going to create it. I'm not going to talk a lot right now. So we just go to the browser and type AWS and then say EDUCAT, like that one. Yeah. So you see here, just like the one that says the AWS Educate. I already have an account. So once you click on AWS Educate, you see a page like this, wherein they will ask you to register now. So if you haven't gotten for you guys, I have an account, so I'm gonna click on sign in. But if you have not, click on this one that says register now. Once you click on that, it's gonna take you to the registration page. So the AWS Educate, it's really the educational program that Amazon has to help people to be able to like learn the AWS services, for free. So once you click on AWS and register, you see it will take you to a page like this: learn cloud skills at no cost with AWS Educate. So you can register with just an email address. No, you don't have to put any credit card. So as you see here, it's stated here, you register just with your email address. So they'll ask you on this information here, you put your information. So if I put all my information here, you select the country. If you are from the United States or wherever country, and then if you are from the US, they will ask you for your details. So I put my details. You put your date of birth for verification purposes, your date of birth, and then the year, and then your email address, and then the program. So they have Cloud Academy, AWS Academy, AWS Cloud Institute, AWS Educate. So really what you want on this list is AWS Educate. These are other programs that Amazon has, but these ones like AWS Academy is for institutions like schools that already have, like institutions that have that are accredited. So you don't want to choose the institute. So just select the AWS Educate one on this page here where you choose the program. And then from there you choose the language. What language do you want? English or whatever language that you pick. And then just leave this one registration code. They will send you an email. So once you do this, you come down and then click on create account. Okay. So that's it. Really simple. When you do this, AWS will send you, again, don't forget to do this. AWS will send you an email. They will send you an email to the email address that you sent, that you listed here to verify. Okay. And in that email address, they will also have you create they'll give you instructions. Yeah, unfortunately, I will not be able to show you that, but you get an email address if you do everything, if you follow everything here. The email address, I think you have like 2 emails. Let me see here if I still have that email. Yeah, I don't have the email. I did some cleanup for my email, so I don't have it now, but you will get an email. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. Once you are in AWS Educate, so for me, I already have an account, so this is what I'm gonna say, and then it's gonna ask me for my password. So remember, they will send you, you put the email address that you sign up with, and then for me, it's already saved on my computer, so I'll just sign in. So once you are inside the account, you will see a page, you will see this page. Well, this is not so this is because I selected the services. So you will see like different tabs here, the skills that you want to learn, analytics, cloud computing. So because I will select cloud computing, and then I will just select the ones security, professional skills, networking. Yeah, so for now, those are the ones I will choose. And then here, so AWS Educate will give you badges. So they will give you badges. So here you can select if you want at the completion of every training. Like when I signed up for this, I started with this one. So right now I'm 33%. I was just doing some testing. So you can select badges if you want to get some badges. So you see, getting started with security, and then you can, if you want labs, it will be labs, you just select that. And then here, the level, you can select what level do you want to, are you a beginner, like fundamental, or are you intermediate? So for you guys, for my class, for the students in my class, I would like you to choose like fundamentals. So if you select fundamentals, so it will only give you the fundamentals. So when I remove that, it added working with user data, logging into Linux instance using Amazon EC2 Instance Connect, working with Amazon EBS snapshot. So these are things so you select, leave this one on. So for me, I can select advanced. So there are no course set for advanced. Okay, so if I select intermediate, so intermediate, these are the things that it gives me. What if you select fundamentals? So if I just select everything, and then the duration, how many duration? 1 hour, less than an hour, 2 to 3 hours. So just do that. Just do less than an hour, more than 5 hours. Yeah, so just select the time. Remember, the time that you select, it's gonna determine like what materials will be available to you. So there is storage, there is compute services, there is getting started with networking, there is getting started with database, getting started with cloud operations, getting started with security, getting started with serverless. So the serverless, we already talked about this one. We'll talk about security. So basically, I have talked about most of these ones. So if you want to do it, there are videos embedded. So let me open the one that I've already been doing. So you open that, and then I will ask you for the language. You can also select if you want a different language. You can select that, and then you confirm. And then what is going to happen, it's going to open on a different browser, and then it will take you to the course. So from here, you can see the view. So this AWS Educate actually helps you to, basically, you can provision everything that we did on the Amazon console. You can do all those things without like having to pay for anything. You are not going to pay for any resources. Like when we are doing the demo, we are like, I will tell you that you need to shut down your instance so that they don't charge you. Where on AWS Educate, because it's managed by AWS, it's a learning environment. So it's gonna look the same when you log in. Nothing will be different, only that the resources that you created on AWS Educate, they will not charge you for them. So you can, because it's for educational purposes. So you can create resources, they will not charge you. So you get here getting started with cloud computing, and then you can read all this, the level, the course level, the objective of this course. It gives you the objective of the course. and then the course layout, you know, and then once you read through that, you click on next. So for each course, this is what it's going to do for you. It's going to take you that, and then it will go through the ask you to take a survey. So I'm just going to keep this skip this one, but you can take this survey. I'm going to skip it. So you can go getting started in new Windows. So you click on that load getting started in new Windows. So it will load in new Windows. Or if you say next, so this one takes you to the cloud simulation, getting started with cloud simulation. But this one actually takes you to the getting started with cloud. So this is where the videos, you get the videos. So this one also are videos. You know, these are videos. But you really wanna start with this other one, the getting started with cloud computing. And then once they open this page for you, so this is a video. Let me see if I can share my sound. Yeah, so if you play this, if I play it right now, so you can go continue.
Welcome to Getting Started with Compute.
Yeah, so
this fundamental level course is written for people who are
talk to you about like the things that we talk about.
Web services.
You know,
before you begin this course, it will be helpful if you have a.
I'm just gonna mute it or turn it down. And then so it gives you all these things that we talk about. You know, like if you click on it, introduction to Amazon EC2. You know. Introduction to compute, you know, like it talks to you about like what, like these are things that we've already talked about, but this is going to be available to you if you just so that if you want to review what we've covered so far, this is a good place to come and just watch the video. So you click next. On the sidebar here also, you'll be able to see some other things that you know, like everything that you cover in this particular module. So you can see, I'm just gonna pause this one. You can see here what problem does Amazon EC2 solve? You know, Amazon EC2 overview. Let me see if nobody's here. Okay, Amazon EC2 overview, Amazon EC2 blah blah blah. So these are all there. The purchasing, on-demand instance, reserve instance, savings plan, sport instance, tenancy, and all these kind of things. So they are all here. But what I want to show you really is, let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna look for that really quick. All right, guys. So yeah, so I stopped a little bit. So this is really what I wanted to talk about this morning. But I know now, by now, you should be able to look for AWS Educate, and then click on register now, and then register AWS Educate, and then come and configure this one so that you have like whatever you want. But what really I wanted to talk about today was this. So AWS, after they have established, they have their customers, so they analyze a lot of customers, like how they've been using the services and best practices. So they came up with 5 pillars. And these 5 pillars, it is based on these 5 pillars that Amazon operates. And this is like, that's why they call it a well-architected framework. So if for your application to be resilient, or for your application to be able to like meet the rigorous and robust like environment, to be able to strive, and for you to be able to like meet best security practices, best operational practices, best cost practices, and for your infrastructure to be reliable, Amazon come with what they call the well-architected framework. So the well-architected framework, it's like a foundation. So when you are creating a building, that building, if the building, the integrity of the building really depends on the foundation upon which the infrastructure or the building is built upon, is erected upon. If the foundation is weak, then the building, of course, is going to be weak with time, you know. And so AWS came up with this 5 well-architected framework. They call it the first one is operational excellence. And then the second one is security. Of course, we all know security. Security is paramount, especially at this day and age. And then we have reliability, and then performance excellence, and then cost optimization. So we're going to look at we're going to explore each one. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I think that's it. Anyway, so let's look at what is operational excellence. So operational excellence is the ability to run and monitor systems to deliver business values and to continually improve supporting processes and procedures. So basically, it's like you are constantly running and building and running your application, but also you are monitoring the applications to make sure that you are delivering the application in a very seamless, very secure, very safe way. And then you are also making sure that you are meeting your business values, and then improving on that application. So the design principles of operational excellence is in the cloud includes performing operations as code, automating documentation, anticipating failure, and frequently making small reversible changes. So again, under the operational principles, which they call it operational excellence, there are things, the design principles. 1, automate everything. If possible, automate everything. And I talked to you guys about this. Automation is paramount. Your documentation, the code. We've talked about this when we talk about Terraform. CloudFormation. We talk about this when we talk about user data. So automation, instead of manualizing everything, doing things manually, going to the console and creating resources, automate everything. Automate everything if possible. And then anticipate that even when you build the most resilient infrastructure, anticipate or expect that at some point there are going to be failure. So always have that expectation, always have that knowledge that it's not going to be perfect, and at some points there's going to be failure. And so once you anticipate that, then what happens is you are constantly in the lookout for like finding solutions. If to solution for problems that are not happening, but you are anticipating, what if my server break down? What if I have too many customers coming in? What if I have a distributed denial of service? So you constantly have to be on the watch out for failure. And then you frequently have to make small changes. So which means like making updates, because software change. You might have one version, and then after a few months or after a few years, they release another version. So you constantly have to be in the lookout for that, to make changes to your organization, to make changes to your application. So that is what operational excellence really stands for. And then you look at security. So security is the pillar that is the ability to protect infrastructure, to protect your system, to protect your assets, while delivering business values through risk assessment and mitigation strategy. So basically, what's the security pillar? Secure everything. Do your best. Do your best to secure your application, to secure your infrastructure. Infrastructure, I'm talking about like the services that you have running on your AWS account, or even outside of your AWS account. If you have servers that are running, if you have databases that are running, if you have like Lambda functions, if you have API gateway. So everything that you have on your AWS ecosystem, on your environment, make sure that you protect them. That's what we mean by infrastructure. Make sure that you protect any systems that you have in your account as well. So the system is like your CPU utilization, like all those kind of systems. Make sure that there is a system. Make sure that you are protecting those systems. Make sure that you are protecting the assets that you have, right? The assets could be any resources that also that you have provided. Make sure that they are, they are protected, especially when you are delivering those assets. You got to make sure that you take into account risk management. So that's really what the risk assessment. Because you all constantly, remember in the operational excellence, we say anticipate for failure. Well, because you anticipate for failure, now you are going to start looking at risk assessment. So constantly you have to make like risk mitigations and risk assessing the threat level or the risk level of your application. And then look at the mitigation strategies. Once you do your risk assessment, the risk assessment result or report is going to tell you how to mitigate those. Well, first you have to make sure that you do your risk assessment, and then maybe if there are any vulnerabilities that you identify, any abnormalities, any anomalies that you detect in your application or in your system, then you have to look at security. What security measures, what security strategies am I going to use to mitigate or to prevent this from happening? So you got to take note of that. And then when considering security of your architecture, apply the best principle. To apply the best principle, you have to follow, like, there are certain standards in the IT industry. Every standard, every country that you go to, there are global standards. There are standards that are based on countries to countries, that are based from state to state. So we've got to make sure that we follow the best principle, best practice. So best practice, for example, when we talk about IAM, I told you best practice is not to give individual user access, but rather create group and give the group, create group, and then give permission to that group, give certain permission. So if you want it to be an administrator, then you give administrative privilege. There is this, I talk about this, about list privilege. So these are the list privilege, this is the area, so make sure that you, like the group, give permission to the group and then add users to that group. Because those users, once they are in that group, they inherit whatever permissions or policies or rules that you have for that particular group. When they leave, you remove them from the group still exists. Once you remove them outside of that group, they don't have access right, or they don't have any permission again as they used to. So follow best practices. And then automate security best practice when possible. Again, I talk about automations, man. Automate everything. If you have to automate, for example, security best practice, one security best practice that Amazon talk about is to secure your root user account. So make sure that you automate that. So how do you automate it? When you create the users, when you are creating that user, enforce for them to be able to activate MFA upon logging in. Enforce that. It will be a best practice, right? The root user, you can do that. You can automate things like that. Apply security at all layers. So at the application layer, at the user layer, as a group layer, as a logic layer, as a database layer, at all level, apply security layer, practices. Protect data in transit and data at rest. Guys, I already talked to you about this. So data in transit is data that is moving from one point to the other point. Let's say when you are sending your Facebook message, or if you are sending a text message to someone, that's data. There is data in transit. When you hit send, if you type that message and then it is just sitting there, it is not moving, you have not sent it, it's just sitting there, That's data at rest. Data in transit is the data that is moving across the internet. So when you send that WhatsApp message to me, you hit send, you type that message, and then you hit send. No sooner you hit send, now it is in transit. That's why I'm able to receive that message. So it's going to go through the internet, and through that internet, a lot of things can happen there. And so that's why you have to make sure that you protect that data in transit and data at rest. So data at rest are the data that are just sitting there. Sometimes you are going to have storage. Those storage are going to be sitting there unless you are ready to retrieve them. Or there are some data that are on your website that they are just sitting there. There is no need for you to move them because that's not the purpose. Where data like that, they are called data at rest. So you have to make sure that you protect them. Amazon have services like the KMS, Secret Manager, that you can use to manage all these things, like security services. So that's what the security pillar stands for. And then you have the reliability. Reliability is the ability of a system to. So the ability of a system to, one, recover from infrastructure or service disruption. So your system has to be robust. Your system has to be reliable to the point that if there is any failure, if there is any point in time wherein you are down, you go down, or something happens, something breaks, your system has to be able to withstand that failure. It has to be able to recover from that failure so that your customers and end users are able to enjoy the application, are able to do their work or what they are paying for. So that is, you have to be able to recover from that. So if you are able to do that, then one, your application is reliable. Your customers are able to depend on your applications. The other thing also is for your system to be reliable, one, it has to be dynamically acquired computing resources to meet on demands. It has to be, which basically it has to be able to cater for your customers. It has to be able to, if too many customers are coming in, your application or your system has to be able to accommodate them. If your system, let's say your system is designed for 50 people and then you have 150 and then it crashes, which means it's not reliable. But if your system is designed in a way, let's say it's designed originally for 50 people, but then as the number increase, your system increase, your application increase. So how do you do this? Again, we've talked about that. We use load balancing. We use auto scaling. There are different applications and softwares that Amazon has, infrastructures that Amazon has that can help you with that to make your application to be more resilient. And so you are talking about like cross-region replications. You are talking about like multi-AZ, putting your application in different availability zone like multi-AZ. We are talking about like having like a content delivery like CDN, like CloudFront sitting in front of your application to make sure that it's caching that the data from the server and then bringing it closer to your customers. We are talking about load balancing. We are talking about API gateway. We are talking about having that lambda function to be able to like do certain things, automate certain things for you. So these are all, when you do this, then you are actually making your system or your applications to be reliable. And then reliability also include testing recovery procedure. So how are you gonna test the recovery procedure? So you have to test that. You have to put that to test. How are you gonna scale horizontally to increase aggregate system availability? How are you gonna scale horizontally? So horizontally is like, how are you gonna, let's say on Black Friday, your application, you design your website or your applications, your shopping cart or whatever, for that can take like maybe 50 people, and then Black Friday you have 200 people. How is your application going to be resilient? Is it going to be able to create more instances or more servers? How do you architect that application? How is that application going to perform in that kind of situation, in that kind of scenario? So these are all things that you have to have at the back of your mind whenever it comes to reliability. You have to understand these 5 pillars. Anytime you are creating your application, you are creating your systems, you are creating your software, These 5 pillars, you have to be in cognizance with them. You have to constantly remind you of these 5 pillars. Automatically recover from failure. So you have to have a system in your applications that is going to enable you to automatically recover from any failure. Failures are going to happen. In fact, one of the things that when you are working for customers, many big organizations or like the banking system, they will have what they call SLA, service level agreement, and then they will have what they call in that SLA, they will spell out like the recovery time objective, and then so recovery time objective is like how much, like if my application goes down, how long is it going to take for it to come back online? And majority of times, like if you're working for high like institutions like banking, you don't want your application to go down for like even 5 minutes. Could you imagine if electricity go out in the entire United States for like 5 minutes? Could you imagine how many catastrophe will happen, how many things will happen? In fact, like even like the hospitals, not even the United States, just the hospital, like the major hospitals, or even hospitals in general, or even the school system, if the lights goes off, or let's say the internet goes off, a lot of things will be disrupted. And so how long, if that happens, how long can you afford for your customers to wait? How long will it take for that person that were under that operation, on that operation bed that they were working on, but then the internet goes off, or the light went off, electricity went off, and then the power, everything goes off? How long is it going to take before that person will survive? So these are all things that we have to have at the back of our mind when we are designing applications. How resilient is my application going to be? So horizontal scaling is just like creating more CTUs, more CPUs. Vertical scaling is like adding more like resources, like horizontal scaling is you adding more like servers, like creating more EC2s. And then vertical is like you increasing like your compute power, so you can increase like the CPU utilization, the RAM, the storage, and all those kind of things to meet your workload. All right, guys. So that's a little bit about reliability. And then the other one is the fourth one is performance efficiency. Performance efficiency is the ability to use computing resources efficiently to meet system requirements and to maintain that efficiency as demand changes and technology evolve. So again, I'm going to read this. Efficiency is the ability to use computing resources efficiently to meet system requirements. So every system that you build, every system that you interact with, whether Zoom, WhatsApp, the text messages, the mobile phone that you use, these are all systems. In fact, they are the IoT, like your freezer that you have, your microwave that you have. These are all systems. They have systems inside, right? So how are these systems able to meet those requirements? So there are requirements. Each system is designed based on design principles and based on certain requirements. Sometimes you can say user requirements. What are the users looking for? So you have to have this at the back of your mind, the performance of your applications, because the whole thing is you want to maintain efficiency, right? You want to make sure that because technology things change. You want to make sure that your application is designed in a way, even when there is a change, your application should be able to withstand that change. So that's what the performance thing is. I don't know what the music, I like the music on, but it stopped for some reason. Yeah, so, and then evaluate the performance efficiency of your architecture, including experimenting more often, using serverless architecture, and designing systems to be able to go global in minutes. So again, if you are automating, so to go global in minutes, it's really talking about automations, because there's no way you can go global. You can just go global in minutes, like your website. You have to automate a lot of things. And then that it will be like palm with a click of your finger, you know. So that's really what the performance efficiency according to the fourth pillar is for Amazon. And then the last pillar is cost optimization. Cost optimization is, again, I went over this one. This was the first thing that the first and second items that we did when we started the class. I went over the billing. I explained the billing to you, everything. So that's the fifth thing on the five pillar. Cost optimization is the ability to run systems to deliver business values at the lowest price point. So again, you want to have the best system. You want your system to be efficient. You want your system to be reliable. You want your system to be highly secure. You want your system to have the highest performance so that your end users, your customers are getting the best out of what they are paying for. But you also, even though you want all these things, these best things, you want to make sure that you are not overspending. You want to make sure that you are aware of how much you are spending on each application. And that's what cost optimization. If you have to use the least, the best, you get the best services, but paying less, that's what you want. You want to pay the least for the services, but get the best services. Now, it's not always going to be feasible because cloud computing has the service model where you pay as you go. So the more, in fact, there are certain, AWS has certain applications. The more you use the service, the less you pay, right? So you want to make sure that you are utilizing services that are efficient, but at a low cost. So cost optimization includes adopting a consumption model, analyzing and attributing expenditure, and using managed services to reduce the cost of ownership. Again, so you got to be smart about this. You got to be smart about what you are doing. You got to know what you are doing. And what AWS is saying here really is, really, if there is a possibility, use the serverless infrastructure or managed services. So managed services are services that are being managed by AWS. So you, the customer, you, the user, you don't need to worry about the underlying infrastructure. You don't need to worry about what is under the hood because AWS is taking care of that. You have to worry about, like, maybe how are you securing the applications? What code are you going to run on the application? That's what you worry about. And this will help to save time. This will help to save money because that ownership, if for EC2, you have to take care of those things. Even EC2, you are not taking care of a lot of things. Amazon take care of things. But the little part that you have to take care of, you can see how it can be really, really cumbersome because you have to provision it, you have to run it, you have to make sure it's secure, you have to do all these things, you have to install applications. These are a lot of work. You have to, so make sure that ownership before you own, rent from Amazon, and then Amazon, by renting from Amazon take care of the things that you are going to be worrying about. So guys, this I wanted to go over this AWS well architected framework. You can look it up also. If you go on the browser, you look up AWS well architected framework like that. If you look up that, you can see, it can pop up the first one. Let me just close some pages because otherwise it's gonna slow my system down. So we are done with this one, so I'm gonna close that one also. I'm gonna close this. Yeah, so if you look at AWS well architected framework, you will see them here as well. Now, why is it on queue? This is not the AWS well architected framework. So let's look at the first one. Again, this is just to show you like how you can get to it. You keep going. Yeah, so on the console they will give you they'll give you this. So if you look here, on the dashboard here. So I've not used this before, so but this is not really what I wanted to show. Let's go back. I think it shows under the well architected. So when you look out for it, it's showing here, well architected pillars. So you see this well architected pillar. So you can just to read more about it if you want to read more about this. So it's right here: operational excellence pillar, security pillar, reliability pillar, performance excellency pillar, cost optimization pillar, and sustainability. So this is 2, 4. So here on the AWS page, they give you 6, right? And on the AWS page, they give you 6. So the sixth one is sustainability pillar. So the sustainability pillar focus on minimizing the environmental impact of running cloud workload. It keeps topics include key topics include a shared responsibility model for sustainability and understanding impact and maximizing utilization to minimize required resources and reduce downstream impact. So that's just the sustainability. How is your application going to be sustainable? If there's a failure, if there's something happen, how is it going to be sustainable, right? So guys, you can read through this. Again, Amazon they are very good with their documentations. You can find all these things online. So that is what I wanted to, that's one of the things I wanted to show you today. The other thing I wanted to show you really quick, this one, we are going to go do it on the console, on the AWS console. And I'm going to bring up something here. So we're going to look at AWS organization. So I'm going to bring another screen here really quick. Mercy, are you just joining? Were you here all along? Mercy, are you there?
Yes, I've been waiting for me to join. So
okay, yeah. I wasn't keeping track of the
yeah, so I've just because I wanted to be sure. So when they say the host is ready there, so I said okay, let me just wait. I've been waiting since though.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So with the well-architected framework, we talk about the well-architected framework, but I wanted to jump into another topic that we're going to talk about is the AWS organization. So the AWS have this what they call the AWS organization. This is how you manage multiple accounts on AWS, right? So AWS organization is like you can manage multiple accounts, but you can also you can use AWS organization to manage your department. So you put HR under HR, you put like engineers under engineers, you put like DevOps under DevOps, and that's what we're really going to do. So if you look at, I don't know, for some reason okay, so this is what it looks like. So you have to have a root user account. A root user account, I already explained that to you. A root user account is an account wherein AWS, I don't know why, Messi, you are the one showing. Messi, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
What do you see?
I've seen it's showing Hava?
Yeah, Hava. Okay. All right. So yeah, so this is what we are going to talk about. Let me see what they say here. It's the AWS organization is a free service that allow you to programmatically add and remove AWS accounts and group together AWS accounts into organizations. So you can add multiple groups, you can have groups, and then you can add those groups on those accounts, on AWS accounts. Yes. So that is AWS. So basically, how do you manage your account? So they will ask you questions in an interview, or maybe on the test. If you are taking a test, they will ask you questions about AWS organization. How do you manage multiple accounts? You manage multiple accounts through AWS organization. So we'll talk about IAM. IAM is how do you manage user access? AWS organization, how do you manage accounts? So if you have an account for DevOps, for developers, how do you manage that? And you want to have a centralized, and for best practice is to have in a real world production, not like when you are practicing, when you are doing demo, but in the real world, best practice is to have what they call consolidated account. So which means putting all your accounts together, and you do that through AWS organization. So AWS organization help you centrally manage and govern your AWS environment as you grow and scale your AWS resources. So as you are growing, your company is getting larger and larger. You can use AWS organizations to manage the account. But not only that, you can use AWS organization to block people. So you have what they call blacklist and whitelist. When you blacklist a particular someone or another company or a particular IP address, those IP addresses will not be able to do anything on your account. So you can blacklist people. This is what they do sometimes, like if you see like you are trying to access some application or something. Let's say right now, if I remove any student from this group, they will not be able to access. So you can write policies. They call it service level policy, SCP, service control policy, not service level. It's called service control policy, SCP. You can create a service control policy that is actually either blacklisting or whitelisting a particular user or a particular IP address. So you can use AWS. You also have that feature. We are going to see it on the console because I'm going to do this for till 9:30. So we have 20 minutes. You can create an account. You can create an account and allocate resources, group accounts to organize your workflow, apply policies for governance, and simplify billing by using a single payment method for all your AWS accounts. So again, you consolidate everything. So this also helps you to segregate. So if you are in HR, you only see HR stuff. You are not going to start poking into developers. You are not going to start poking into security. So for security people, only security personnel are in the security group. So we are going to see that for a little bit. Before AWS organization, AWS accounts needed to be added manually, which could be quite time consuming, right? So again, they will ask you when you AWS organization, in short, they call it OU, organizational unit. So remember that's OU, AWS organization, it stands for organizational unit on AWS. So this is how it will look like. We'll have our root user account, and then we'll have two organizations under this root user account. But this organization, so the AWS account, the main account, the root user account, we'll call that the parent account. So this is called parent-child relationship. So and also you can call it nested, because inside the AWS account, the main account, the root user account, as you can see here, let me see. As you can see here, this is the parent account. But this parent has a child, this one child, and then it has another child here.
Daniel, please, can you expand your screen? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me see if nobody else is there. Oh, I don't know what this is doing. Okay. So you have this parent account, and then you have the child, another child, and then these children have given birth to another child. And then these children, they not only give birth to another child, but give birth to another organization unit. So you can have a nested. So this is called nested because this is an organization unit, and then there's another organization inside this organizational unit here, and this organization has child, and then this one, this OU have a child here, and then have another child here, and have another OU here, and then so let me go. Let's create some diagram. So let me just remove all that drawing. I'm gonna create some diagram really quick. So let me see if I can find LUCID, Lucid Chat. So Lucid Chat is a diagramming software. It's a software that helps you to to create like diagrams and all those kind of things. You don't have to use Lucid Chat. You can also use the Google the one that we normally use. You can also use that. If this one takes a long time, then we're gonna use that one, but let's see if it's gonna open. Okay, so it's having some issues. So let me go back. Let's go to the classroom. I have a lot of stuff open, so my thing is probably gonna slow down. AWS, and I think I have a diagram in two. It's Google. Yeah, this one. So this is in the classroom, so you have access to this. So just click on that. Not that one. Where is the tool? Okay, so click inside of this, view material. Maybe edit this. Yeah, so when you edit and then you can say create. So Google has this, you create, and then you can choose whether you are doing doc slides. If you want to create a slide, you can create a slide. If you want to create like a sheet, you can create sheet. But what I want to do, I want to draw. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to show you what we are talking about here. And probably I'm going to split my screen so that I can go back to this. Okay, so on this page here, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so I can. So on this page, I'm just going to replicate this thing that we are seeing here. I'm just going to replicate this one. So you see here, they have the root user account. So I have my root user account. So what we're going to do, we're going to, where are the shapes? So I'm going to choose shape. So let's say this is my root user account, right? And then inside this root user account, I have an organization. So I'm gonna do this. So I have this one organization. I have this. So inside this, and then I go back. So inside this organization, I create, this organization has a child. And so I will copy this and then paste it here. And just drag it right there. So again, we see our root user here, right? So you can say root account. And then this one, we are going to say admin. And then here we are going to say engineers, right? Now, under these engineers, we want to have other users here. So let's copy this again, or I'll just paste. I think I already have. I paste here, and I'm going to paste again. Like that. And then I'll paste again. Like here. And then I'll paste again and drag it right here. So in essence, what we are doing is this. So in essence, let me do this one. So this one, okay, that's not good. I don't like that one. So let's use this. So we can point this to this. And then we can point this to this. And then this one to this. And then this one to this. So what we are saying here, inside this root account, we have an account for admin. And then inside the admin, we have a separate account for, let's say, the one that, let's create another one actually. Let's create, so under engineering, we have these guys here. And then we'll have another, let's paste another one. Drag it here. And you can minimize them. You can make them smaller. The size doesn't matter anyway. So unless if you are like OCD like me. Anyway. So we have this, and then we also have, I'll paste another one here. I'll just minimize it. And then bring that here. So this one will make it, and then this one also have children. We're gonna do this on the console really quick. It will not take us that long. I just want you to be able to know like what visually. Yeah. So I'm just resizing them, and then resize this ones also. Yeah, I just gotta play around it and then bring that back down and connect it. So now you just do your connection. So we have this engineer. So we are gonna connect this. This engineer is gonna be connected to this one, and then connected also here. This one come back here, and then it's also no. So get back your thing where the arrow should be pointing downwards. Keep messing up. So get back our arrow. And then get that. And then from this one here, we can do this. And then we can do this. And then we can do this. So this will be like our organizational unit. So at the top here, we have our root user account. And then this user account inside this user account, they have admin. So just like when you create your IAM user, you have admin, and then you have engineers. And inside engineers, engineers also have one child, has these other children. And then this one is an OU. So actually, let's go to the console and then let's do this on the console. So on the AWS account, I'm gonna make this screen like this. I'm just gonna use that one and then push this a little bit like that. And then here, just as usual, type OU or type ORGA, AWS organization, just like that. And then it will take you to the console, the AWS organization console. It will take you there. And then once you are on the console here, so again, it will tell you about AWS organization, which I already talked to you about, which we already talked about. So you can read through this. So today we are just going to create the organization unit, and then the service control, the SCP, that will be another demo next week. So click on create AWS organization, and then from here, so here it automatically shows my root user. So you see root. So if I click on root here, so by automatically, it says this thing here, this notification, centralized root access for members account. You can delete root credentials for your member account and perform privilege action for the management or delegation account. So you can do that. So you can enable in IAM, you can enable that. And then inside this root user account, so I have Cloud Skill Gateway. So this is my admin. So this is my account. And in here, inside Cloud Skill Gateway, let's say we want to create this. So now to create the organization, we are going to create two organizational units. One is going to be admin, and then the other one is going to be engineers. So select this organizational unit, and then click on action, and then my new is not, let me see here, action, click on action. Okay, so click on the root account, which is the Cloud Skill Gateway, and then click on create new, and then give it a name. So this one, we're going to call it admin with the lowercase ADM. admin, and then you can put a tag if you want, and then click on create organization unit. And then we're going to create another one again under the root. So make sure you click on the root and then go action and then create new. So we're going to name this engineers. So we'll call it engineers and then create organization units. So now if you look at this, we have admin, we have engineers, right? So for some reason, I don't know why. Yeah. So we have this one, we have the admin and the engineer. So if you look under there, we don't have anything. We don't have any resource. You see, this resource is empty. So we don't have anything there. The same thing with engineers, we don't have anything there. Now we want to create, just like this diagram, we're going to create this account under each user. So we are going to click on the admin first. Click on the admin and then create, let me see, list. Okay, so it will show you the hierarchy if you select that. Okay, we want to do hierarchy view. All right, so under admin, we're going to create another one, or you can rename, you can AWS accounts, all those things. So you're going to click on create again, and then we're going to call it, we're going to call this user, let's say, just as they have AWS /C. So we can do that and then click OK. And then do the same thing again, one more. So this one now, it's going to be HR, right? So again, it's still under the admin. So we're going to create HR, and then click create. And remember, the other two users they are under admin, but they are under HR. So you got to go under admin, and then you have admin. You can see you have this user, and then you have this HR. So HR doesn't have anything right now. And so we can click HR and then add, go to action, and then create. So now under HR, we're going to create 2 users, 2 account AWS, and then A column C. I mean, you create another one again under still this, and then still under HR, action, create new, and then another one AWS A C. Again, so you can give different names here depending on, so this one, for example, you can say, I will show you on the thing over there. Yeah, so you see it gives on an error. So remember, the name cannot be the same. The name cannot be the same. So here we can say, let's just say S. So you have to, the name cannot be the same. So if you look at the admin, so now you can see it's nested, and then HR, it has this too, you know. And then under engineers, we want to create DevOps. We want to create an account for DevOps, for our DevOps folks. So remember, the O all is capital for DevOps. And then under DevOps, so we'll go under engineer, under DevOps, we are going to create 3 accounts. We're going to call it AWS A/C, and then we'll say 1. And then we'll do the same thing again and again. Okay, it's 9:33, so I'm just going to finish and then we'll be out. And then we do it again. We say AWS C2. And then go again, do the same thing. All right, so we have replicated this diagram, what we see here. So you can see, so the root user, we have the root user, and the root user is Cloud Skill Gateway. So if we go in the root user, you see it's Cloud Skill Gateway down here. That's the root user account. And inside this root user account, we have our admin accounts. And inside that admin account, we have this account and we have our HR people. So if we have under this DevOps, this engineer, we have DevOps. And inside DevOps, we have 3 accounts inside DevOps. So this DevOps could be like test, prod, or something, QA, or anything. So this could be, you don't have to, it's not like this. Again, if you click on this, say action, we're not there. So if you go back to, if let's say you want to rename this one, this DevOps, let's say you want to rename that, you click, you select it, and then you say rename. So you can rename this, you can say DEV, dev. And you can also go again, let's just rename everything. And then let's rename this one again, say rename, and then we say PROD, prod 1. We're assuming that we have, that prod 1 is just production. And then let's do this as prod 2. Prod 2. So basically what will happen now, you have this accounts, they are segregated. So which means this admin, you only add people who are in the admin departments. You add them. So if the HR admin, because every department has an admin, so the HR has the HR admin. So you put that under HR admin. You can even create a subgroup, say HR admin. You put that there or something like that. And then you can attach a policy to this admin, and whosoever is inside this, under this admin, will inherit that policy from admin, from this organization unit. So remember, this is the OU, and then these are the children. So you have the child, you have this parent here, and then you have the sub-parent, and then you have children. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I wanted to show you all, the AWS organization. So if you see, we collapse everything, it's just the root. But then when you go in there, you know, so in our next class next week, on Wednesday, I'll walk you guys through how you can actually switch this user, how you can go log in as one of these accounts. So you see that here right now, it says Cloud Skill Gateway on my login here. If we are going to see next week how we can log in as one of these, like either as an engineer, how we can log in into, instead of logging in as Cloud Skill Gateway. Because as an engineer, you have to be inside here for you to be able to perform your job. So next week, I'll show you guys how we can do that, how we can log in, and how we can create like a service SCPs, or how we can blacklist or whitelist people or accounts. Guys, this is all for today. Today we talk about like the well-architected framework, the AWS well-architected. We talk about like the AWS EDU. We talk about the AWS education program. We look at that. I told you guys, like I've shown you guys how you can create the AWS, so you can register here. I already talked about this one. If you are if you already have the account, you can sign in using the email address and the password that you created. AWS will send you a registration page on your email once you register for this AWS Educate. Once you sign in, you see this page. And on this page, you see the services that will help you. These services like cloud computing introduction and cloud computing storage. These are things that we've talked about, but in this AWS Educate will help you to learn these things better. It will help you to learn these things better. There are audios, there are videos, and then it also has like it has labs. It has a lab. So let me see if I can find one of the labs. So under let me see. Let me check this cloud computing. Where are you? So let me see this one. So you're actually for the what language? So English. This one I think is gonna take us to so you can also access that Lucid chat I was gonna access. You can access it here also. I think this one, let me see here. Let me see. Let's say labs. I want to see labs. You got to play around it a little bit for you to be able to see the stuff. So go next. Maybe you take the survey. You don't want to take the survey. So I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna take that survey, but I wanted to show you like how you can the labs. I think this one is gonna take you to the audio to the recording. I don't know. I don't think that's what I want. Yeah, so it's taking you to the recording. Yeah, that's not what I want. Let's go back here. All right, so gotta go back to homepage. Dashboard. Yeah, I don't know. But I should take you. So basically, the AWS Educate helps you to create resources, so you don't have to pay a dime. You can create the resources in this AWS Educate. You don't have to pay anything. I don't know why it's not taking me to the lab right now. So I'm gonna go back here. Guys, I will talk about this. I'm gonna end for today. I'll talk about this later. But here you can get the resources, like the things to help you to enhance the things that you are learning in this class. And you can go to the lab. So next, maybe on Saturday when we meet, I'll go over this really quick. I'll show you the labs. But basically, I will take you to the lab environment wherein you will log in, it will just look like AWS. It's the same console, the same everything, but everything that you create in there, AWS is not going to charge you because it's a learning environment. as opposed to when you do it, when you come to your console like this AWS console, you go to either IAM, you can do all those things in that AWS Educate they will not even ask you for a credit card. All right, guys. So that's all for today. Let me know if you have questions when you watch this video. Let me know if you have questions, and then we can talk about it. Next week when we come, I will talk to I will explain much about like that lab. I don't know why it wasn't showing up today. All right, guys. Bye. Have fun.